I guess we're good to start. Great. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Good morning. My name is Councilmember Alexa Aviles. I represent District 38 at the City Council, and I'm also the chair of the Immigration Committee at the New York City Council. I want to thank you all for being here today. We have a lot of speakers because we have important things to say. So if you bear with us, we're going to try to run through our run of show and keep our remarks brief. But I just want to thank everyone for being here. I want to acknowledge my council colleagues who are here. Councilmember Justin Brennan, Councilmember Sandy Nurse, Councilmember Gail Brewer, Councilmember Linda Lee, and our fearless speaker has arrived. Amazing. And thank you to the New York Immigration Coalition and all the partner advocates who are here today. Un aplauso bien fuerte para ustedes. Bienvenido, bienvenido. So hello, everyone, again. Thank you for joining us in support and power to stand in solidarity with immigrant communities that make our city so very strong. But we have to say, I wish it were under better circumstances. Since the moment President Trump took office, he has waged an endless war against our communities and against our city, trying to make examples of working class communities by detaining us, by perpetuating fear, by disseminating misinformation, disobeying our laws and our Constitution. Recently, the Trump administration has escalated this war with their violent attacks, and it is now a daily occurrence inside our courts that New Yorkers are showing up to routine appointments, trying to follow the rules and make better lives for themselves and their families, and instead they are being detained by ICE. When you go to immigration court on any given day, you will speak with dozens, if not hundreds of people who are terrified, without legal representation, waiting to see if they are next to be unlawfully detained by ICE agents. And in fact, you do not need to go to court to hear this fear and to feel it. In our communities, people who have been engaged in the immigration process for years are feeling that fear and do not know whether they will be able to be with their families. If you sit in on hearings, you will hear people say that they were unable to find legal representation because of lack of services and incredibly long wait lists at pro bono organizations. This is a devastating reality for our city, but we just don't have to sit down and accept that as our normal. While we may not be able to stop the whims of this white supremacist presidential administration, there is certainly power in knowledge, and there is power in legal representation. At a time when the needs increase daily, it is just unacceptable to have a budget that doesn't meet the moment. The $4.4 million being offered by the mayor is simply not enough. Our service providers are drowning. There is just not enough capacity to address the extreme fear that our city government, the extreme fear that surrounds us in this city. We need to let New Yorkers know that our city government is here for them. We see this, we are organizing against this, and we are fighting to protect every vulnerable working class family that makes our city whole. No one should be punished for doing everything that is right within our immigration system or at all. And I will just say, this year, this budget, we must fund legal services. It is unquestionable. So we demand that there be a significant increase to meet the need. And I just want to remind everyone here in the press that even at the current service levels, the federal government has complicated every single case. Where we understood the pathways in prior years, they have convoluted the law, they are breaking the law, and so even holding our current caseloads is demanding so much more of our legal service providers in this city. So it is without question that the humane, dignified thing to do is to significantly increase funding for legal services. Yay! And so with that, yes, what do we want? En español, ok. Ay, brevemente porque quiero llamar a la presidenta del concejal. Hola, soy Alexa Avilés, soy la presidenta del Comité de Inmigración. Nosotros estamos aquí porque queremos más inversión en los servicios legales para la comunidad inmigrante. Lo que ha hecho el alcalde es poner solamente $4 millones y sabemos que necesitamos más dinero, más recursos para asegurar que nuestras comunidades sean seguros. Esto es posible. Ellos tienen los recursos. Si no lo están haciendo es porque no quieren a nuestra comunidad. Eso es muy importante que nosotros sepamos como votantes, como residentes de esta ciudad, que tenemos los recursos, pero lo necesitamos invertirlos para asegurar que tenemos los servicios legales para esta situación. Estamos aquí para pedir más inversión en los servicios legales para la comunidad inmigrante. Ahora sabemos que esta administración federal quiere echar los inmigrantes, lo están deportando ahora mismo cuando van al corte. Aunque están haciendo sus procesos legales, ellos totalmente, la mayoría están sin representación legal y sabemos que es muy difícil encontrar. Por esa razón tenemos que invertir nuestros recursos en servicios legales. Y ahora les presento a la presidenta del Consejo Municipal. And now I would like to present the fearless leader of the New York City Council, our incredible speaker, Adrienne Adams.
Good morning. Of course, first, I want to acknowledge my colleagues who are here today, including our amazing chair, Alexa Avilés.
Thank you.
Woo! Councilmember Carlina Rivera.
Yay!
Councilmember Justin Brennan. Woo! Councilmember Gail Brewer. Woo! Councilmember Sandy Nurse. Woo! Councilmember Linda Lee. Deputy Speaker Diana Ayala. Majority Leader Amanda Farias. Councilmember Rita Joseph. Councilmember Crystal Hudson. Councilmember Carmen de la Rosa. I also want to recognize all of the outstanding service providers and advocates who have been on the front lines of this critical work. Thank you all for all that you do, especially Morad, just saying. Our city's families and communities, ladies and gentlemen, are under attack from a president who is willing to violate our civil rights. We have a responsibility to protect our city and the people who call it home. Our immigrant communities helped build New York City, and we will always be proud of our rich diversity. We are here today because our city must be committed to protecting all families from President Trump's campaign to violate the constitutional rights of New Yorkers. That requires Mayor Adams supporting greater funding for immigrant legal services. The Trump administration has launched unprecedented attacks on our people, tearing families apart. These vile actions are intended to instill fear, especially within our immigrant communities. We will not let that happen without fighting back. Mayor Adams and his administration must support this city from Trump's overreach. The need for greater immigration legal services has long existed, but the need is far more dire now due to the extreme actions of the Trump administration. We must ensure New Yorkers have attorneys and legal services to protect their rights as they navigate the nation's immigration system. This is especially important as we see Trump's administration exploiting the legal system to target mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, daughters, and sons, despite the fact that they are doing everything asked of them to comply with the legal process. As New Yorkers, we must protect each other and our right to call this city home. Our city and its budget must meet this moment in history. Mayor Adams must put New Yorkers first, to support the necessary increase in immigration legal services. This funding is one of the council's top priorities, and it must be a priority for the city and for the mayor. Right. With Trump unleashing his dangerous and unlawful attacks on constitutional rights and our city's communities, we must act with urgent leadership. There is no time to waste. Mayor Adams must join the council and all New Yorkers to increase funding for immigration legal services in this city budget, meeting the needs of our communities and protecting the city that we all call home. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Next, we have Morad Aalde, the Executive Director, President of the New York Immigration Coalition.
When our communities are under attack, what do? We can do better than that. When our communities are under attack, what do? And that's exactly what we're asking the mayor to do here today. We are calling on Mayor Eric Adams to step up and fight for New Yorkers, to step up and ensure that our communities that have been waged war on by this federal administration have a fighting shot at staying with their families and their communities and making New York City what it is. We're hours away from the New York City budget negotiations coming to a close. As the federal attacks continue to increase, the immigration legal services funding needs to increase. Right. Regardless of the day that you go to the immigration courts here in New York City, across 76 courtrooms, you will see families being torn apart. You will see mothers being taken, fathers being taken, brothers, uncles, siblings. Is this the New York that we have grown and built on the backs of our communities? Is this what we have waited for, to have a moment where we look for leadership and instead of stepping up, we see a mayor turning back? The city must safeguard access to essential services and legal protections in response to the attacks that we're seeing. Mayor Adams' current investment in immigration legal services is far inadequate. We cannot risk losing our workers, our families, our neighbors to Trump's cruel agenda. This will decimate our city. The mayor must increase the immigration legal services immediately. That's right. ICE is operating even roguer than before. As you've all seen in the press, getting off of the elevator to go to your court hearing, you are welcomed with a dozen masked military clothed agents waiting to snatch you up. And imagine having to face that and a government-trained prosecutor and an immigration judge who serves at the pleasure of the executive, i.e. the president, whose sole job is to remove you from this country. No one should have to face that alone. And that is why we're here, and we will continue to fight for our communities. Immigrant New Yorkers are terrified to do everyday tasks of sending their kids to school, going to work, food shopping, or even doing the laundry, let alone going to a doctor's visit. We need the city of New York to step up. We need our mayor to step up. We need the first deputy mayor, Randy Maestro, to step up. We need every single person on the administrative side of this council, of this administration, to meet our equal government partners in the New York City Council who are fighting with us to make this happen. Let's make this a reality. We cannot continue to see our families torn apart this way. We need to move. We need to move quickly. The attacks continue to escalate, and there is nothing we can do more powerfully than ensuring that our community members have immigration attorneys as they face immigration court. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your incredible, incredible leadership, Morad. And next, we're going to have Councilmember Gail Brewer.
Thank you very much. I can hardly believe this is our country. Let me just read you something. This is from Nassau, but it's relevant. It says, in my town, the streets are empty, the stores are empty, the schools are empty, and the food pantries are empty. That is happening in America because this president and ICE have decided that they are going to change the way we live. Immigrants, asylum seekers are the backbone of our country and our city. And for God's sake, why are you doing this? So we need to fight back with attorneys, with the wonderful work of the Immigration Coalition, the City Council, and people who care. What happens in the restaurants? What happens on the farms? What happens to the families? What happens to the schools? The best thing that happened to the schools were the immigrants who came in and the asylum seekers who built up the population of our schools. So goodness gracious, yes, we need immigrants and we need legal services to support them. It is so complicated. It is so complicated. I went to court to be able to be a guardian and mentor for those who are asylum seekers, and then they don't get deported. We needed a lawyer for that. We need a lawyer for everything to keep this community in our city and to fight back to whatever the hell these places are in other countries where the president is sending them. I never heard of such a thing. So we're here to say, yes, we need more money for legal services, and we need all New Yorkers to fight back to keep this community in our city. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Council Member. We're going to speed along because we're running up against the clock, so I ask all my speakers to keep it brief. Next, we're going to have Lisa Rivera, head of the New York Legal Assistance Group.
All right. Good morning, everyone. I'm Lisa Rivera. Good morning. I'm Lisa Rivera, and I'm the CEO and president of NYLAG, New York Legal Assistance Group. Immigrant communities are under attack. They've been under attack for quite some time. I'm hoping that everyone is now starting to wake up to see the effects of these policies and actions by our federal government. We are facing an existential crisis, one that threatens our families, our neighbors, our loved ones, and the very foundation of justice in this country. While the federal government pours its resources and power into arresting, detaining, and deporting our community members, the city is withdrawing resources from long-standing programs that communities rely upon. While the federal government is shredding the Constitution, undermining due process, and stripping the access to legal status and documentation, the city funding for legal services is even more essential. The city administration has not put enough in the budget to keep our services going for the communities that need it most. If our city stands with immigrants, now is the time to actually prove it, with action, not just words. We need your support to keep fighting in partnership and alongside communities. Legal services are a lifeline, essential to protecting immigrants' rights, keeping families together, and stopping unjust detention and deportation. That's why we're all here today demanding increased funding in the city budget for immigration legal services. We need bold investment in flexible community legal service programs that meet the real and growing needs of the community. Programs that ensure communities can live, can work, and thrive here with dignity, security, and stability. Funding that is flexible rather than tied to one type of case in order to respond to ongoing and emerging need. Programs that have existed for years, that have proven community models that the city helped build are being pulled back, such as the Pro Se Plus project. They need to get back into the budget. Their worth is still viable for the communities that need them most. The city helped build them. Why are they tearing them down now? Truly effective immigration legal services has to recognize the full scope of needs, ranging from removal defense, rapid response, friend of the court programs, community education, application assistance, and legal teach-ins that empowers immigrants to represent themselves in court. Legal services is not just about representation. It's about stabilizing lives and empowering immigrant communities to confidently navigate the legal system on their own terms and reclaiming their power and their voice, when often it is here just to take them away and strip away their rights. Without these services that we're talking about here today, delivered on the scale required, the rights of thousands of New Yorkers remain at risk, and with them, the very essence of what makes our city vibrant and strong. We can't wait for the next executive order. We can't wait for the next ICE raid. We cannot wait for the next child to be ripped away from their home and their family and their community. The time to act is now. We can no longer wait. Right now, the resources are not enough. Too many are left without critical legal help, without the tools to defend themselves, their families, and their future. We can't let this stand. Together, we have to push for justice. Together, we have to scream out loud and say we're here to protect New Yorkers, and New Yorkers are immigrants. Let's demand the funding our communities need and deserve, today and always. Thank you.
When immigrants are under attack,
What do we do?
wake up! When immigrants are under attack,
What do we do? Stand up, fight back!
all right.
Amplified, can you ask the speakers
To project. Amazing. Okay, next we have Councilmember Justin Brennan. He'll do it.
When the mayor came out and said that the migrant crisis was going to bankrupt the city, it was the city council who called him out and said, "You're full of crap." And sure enough, it was true. Because we all know migrant crisis was never going to bankrupt the city. Mass deportations will bankrupt the city. Because immigrants are the backbone of our working economy in the city, and that is just reality. Look, in a little while, the mayor is going to stand on these very steps, and he's going to ask New Yorkers for his vote. He's going to announce his re-election campaign. If he's afraid to stand up to Donald Trump because he's in cahoots and colluding with the federal government, well, you know what? He can stay silent, but give us the money we need in the budget. Show us through your actions. If you're afraid to stand up to Trump, no worries. We'll take care of that part. Put the money in the budget because it's what's right and it's what our immigrant communities need. Thank you.
All right, Justin, bringing the fire. Thank you. Next, we have Sienna Fontaine from Make the Road New York. Oh, wait. Oh.
Here. Immigrants are welcome here. Thank you. Good morning. My name is Sienna Fontaine. I'm the current co-executive director and former legal director at Make the Road New York. Thanks to all of our partners for speaking today. We've heard it. Immigrant communities across the boroughs are facing a concerted attack on their rights from this federal administration, which is doing everything from trying to end or constrain paths to legal status or to reviving deportation processes that violate basic notions of due process. Our communities need the city's support more than ever. In the last month, we've seen unprecedented ICE action inside immigration courthouses, even in courtrooms themselves. ICE has embarked on an illegal, cruel system of arresting immigrants. They're targeting people who are already in removal proceedings, who are showing up to court and trying to follow the rules that they've laid out. And are often faced with violent detention and subsequent placement in a process called expedited removal. In addition to our regular practice, Make the Road's legal team has been in court to observe ICE practices, sometimes appearing as a friend of the court. So as many individuals who do not have representation have some spot guidance on how to navigate to getting their case from being dismissed. What we're witnessing is so horrifying that folks of good conscience, like our own city controller, Brad Lander, being one of them, are feeling compelled to come to the courts to accompany folks as they leave. Those who are detained have been shipped to detention facilities all over the country, away from their families, away from supports, making their ability to secure counsel even more difficult. Our legal team is doing what they can to challenge this new courthouse detention policy, including filing habeas petitions for those detained. There is so much work to be done to ensure that immigrants and their families are afforded the due process
that we all know is required under the law. We're working with our legal partners, NILAG, Unlocal, through our Rapid Response Legal Collaborative to support folks at imminent risk of deportation and to ensure that they have access to justice. But the need is greater than the city's providers can meet. Access to counsel has been a perennial problem. What we're seeing today simply reinforces the need for a deeper investment and commitment to legal representation. The city must fortify rather than undermine the critical services and funding for our diverse communities and protect New Yorkers of all immigration statuses. The city must meet this moment by investing in and scaling up the immigration legal services infrastructure. The services that organizations like Make the Road provide are essential. We help New Yorkers keep their families together, learn English, access health care, and do so much more. Amid a historic housing, shelter, and cost of living crisis, we need to invest in communities and protect each other, our friends, our neighbors, our colleagues, and expand funding for critical legal services. Now is not the time to turn away. With enforcement and deportation cases surging, the city must make a bold statement. We call on the mayor to commit to increased resources required for immigration legal services and to show us that he believes in a city where everyone has a chance to live with dignity. Thank you.
Right behind you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Make the Road. Next, we have Councilmember Rita Joseph.
Good morning, everyone. When we are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. When we are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. Yeah, that's right, and we will continue to do so. Good morning, everyone. I am Councilmember Rita Joseph, and I am here today as a proud immigrant, the daughter of Haitian immigrants. And someone who knows firsthand what it means to live in a city that promises opportunity, but only when that promise is backed by action. As we approach June 30th budget deadline, we are calling on the mayor to step up. Right now, our immigrant communities are under threat. The Trump administration is once again wrapping up its attack, targeting families, violating constitutional rights, and using fear as a political weapon. And yet, in the face of this growing crisis, Mayor Adams has proposed just an additional $4.4 million in immigration legal service funding. Boo, not enough. Not enough. That's not leadership, that's not protection, and that's not enough. This is the moment to act, not to shrink back. Legal services save lives. They keep families together. They give our neighbors a fighting chance against a system designed to silence them and deport them. And if New York City truly wants to be a sanctuary, we need to act like one, starting with a budget that reflects those values. Mayor Adams must step up and fully fund legal services our communities desperately need. And because when we fail to meet this moment, we're not just failing immigrants, we are failing New York. And I've seen when we invest in our immigrant communities, we create stronger, safer, and more vibrant neighborhoods. But when we underfund critical protections, we leave our neighbors vulnerable to injustice. And we betray the very soul of this city. So today I join my colleagues and our incredible advocates in demanding budget that meets the urgency of this moment. Mayor Adams, you work for the people of New York City, not Donald Trump. And not Tom Homan, so step up. Do the right thing, invest in our communities, and defend New York City's claim to stand. And on a sadder note, yesterday Dylan should have been graduating with his class. And because he went into court without legal representation, he is now sitting in a detention center. We must do better, and we can do better. So I'm calling on the mayor, step up.
Step it up! 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 Amazing. Thank you so much, Councilmember Joseph, bringing that education fire always. And next we have Nicole Johnson from the Legal Aid Society.
Good morning, and thank you all for being here. My name is Nicole Johnson. I'm the Deputy Attorney in charge of the Immigration Law Unit at Legal Aid Society, and I'm here on their behalf to speak out at a moment of real urgency for immigrants of New York. Right now, immigrant communities across the country and here in New York are under attack by the Trump administration. From detention to deportation, families are being separated, communities severed, lives are being upended, and basic rights and due process are being denied. In the face of these threats, we must not retreat. New York City must double down on its commitment to justice, and this means increasing funding for the critical immigrant legal services so New York City can meet the moment. Legal representation can be the difference between staying with your family and being ripped away, locked in a detention center hundreds or even thousands of miles away from people in your community that you love. Fully funding these services ensures that every New Yorker, no matter of their immigration status, has someone in their corner. It is about dignity, fairness, and the right to live safely and freely in the city that we all call home. We call on the city to respond with urgency and commitment to this crisis demands. Immigrant New Yorkers are our neighbors, our coworkers, our friends, and our family, and they deserve justice and zealous legal representation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And next, I actually want to just recognize that we were joined by Councilmember Pierina Sanchez, Councilmember Dinowitz, Councilmember Caban, Councilmember Shaker Krishnan. Next, we have Councilmember Crystal Hudson.
I'm Crystal Hudson. I'm chair of the Aging Committee, and I always say every issue is an older adult issue. Every issue is an aging issue. Among the growing older adult population is the fastest portion of that population is older immigrant New Yorkers. And initiatives like this, budget investments like this, ensure that our older immigrant neighbors, family members, and loved ones not only get the representation that they need and deserve, but that they can remain here after building the lives, the communities, and the families that they've built right here in New York City. And let me be very clear. This mayor has sold us out. He has sold out every New Yorker to the Trump administration and then tried to gaslight us into believing that he didn't do what he has actually done. If he wants to show us otherwise, he needs to put the money where his mouth is. He needs to invest in immigrant New Yorkers, invest in the representation that they need, the legal services that they need, and stop trying to convince us that he hasn't sold us all out. Show us the money, invest in immigrant New Yorkers, because New York is only what it is because of immigrants. Thank you.
We say fight back. They say cut.
We say fight back. Woo, thank you. And next we have Amaha Kasa from African Communities Together.
They say cut back.
We say fight back.
They say cut back.
We say fight back.
Good morning. My name is Amaha Kasa, and I'm the executive director of African Communities Together. And we're here today with one simple question for Mayor Adams and this administration. Why now? Why in a period when the rule of law is under attack like never before, when immigrants seeking to vindicate their rights in court, and even judges are being ripped out of courtrooms and put in jail? Why would we cut funding to the very lawyers who are on the front line of defending those rights and defending the rule of law? Why now, when ICE is showing up in places that are supposed to be secure and welcoming, hospitals, public schools, places of worship? Why would we cut the very community-based institutions that are the only people that many immigrant New Yorkers trust to turn to in this moment, because they're afraid often of talking to government because they just see someone in a uniform? Why now? Why would we cut that funding now? Why, when basic rights under the law and under U.S. law and under international treaties to seek asylum, to have your immigration application heard in court, why, when those basic rights are under attack, would we cut funding for the community-based providers that are giving know your rights presentations and education? The answer to why now is not now, not on our watch. We will not stand still for cutting basic legal assistance to immigrant New Yorkers. We're not asking the mayor or this administration to meet all the needs or solve the problem of our immigrant communities. Immigrant New Yorkers and their neighbors will see to themselves. What we're asking is just to help the helpers, help the community-based organizations, the service providers, the congregations and places of worship that are making sure that our immigrant neighbors get a work permit, that they get the rights that they're entitled to under the law, that they're able to stay and contribute and grow and become part of the waves of immigrant New Yorkers that have built this city up. That's all we're asking. Help the helpers. And when they say cut back, we say? Fight back. When they say cut back, we say? Fight back. Thank you.
Amaha, apologies. Thank you so much. Next, we have Councilmember Carlina Rivera, and we are almost at the end, y'all, so thank you so much for your patience.
Good morning, everyone. Esta es una emergencia moral que hace Trump contrasta fuertemente con los valores de nuestra ciudad de los Estados Unidos. El gobierno federal está acelerando las deportaciones, negando a las personas el derecho a apelar las decisiones judiciales y enviando a las personas a países de origen donde están en peligro. This is a very dangerous time for New York families. And I want to thank the council that continues to step up where the mayor fails to do so. This is a moral emergency that stands in strong contrast to the values of New York City and the United States. The federal administration is expediting deportations. They're stripping people of due process, denying individuals the right to appeal court decisions, and they're sending people back to countries of origin where their lives are at risk. You know, this week is supposed to be a happy week. These are the last few days of school. But instead, we have children as young as 4 years old in court as unaccompanied minors, and we are struggling to find them support and legal representation. Let me be clear. New York lawyers, the New York Lawyer Assistance Group, Legal Assistance Group, and all of the lawyers and advocates here are doing absolutely everything they can. The council is putting millions of dollars for interpreters, emergency response, but we need the mayor to step up, period. Right now, we have reports of women who are going to court being told by ICE to come back with their children. In one sweep, they're trying to send families away. Families, many of them here on the path to citizenship, trying to find their place. And let me be clear. According to the American Immigration Council, immigrants in New York State paid almost $75 billion in taxes in 2023. Our city is reliant on these families. We love them. We embrace them. They belong here. So I want to just say to the mayor, do your part. Don't be a coward. It's time to step up for our families. Thank you.
We are here to stay.
We are here to stay. We are here to stay. Next, we have Rosa Cohen Cruz from Bronx Defenders.
Good morning. My name is Rosa Cohen Cruz. I'm the Director of Immigration Policy at the Bronx Defenders, one of New York City's 3 providers of the New York Immigrant Family Unity Project. NYFUP is the nation's first public defender program for detained immigrants, and it's the only thing standing between many New Yorkers and permanent separation from their families. But right now, NYFUP, like all immigrant legal services, is overwhelmed. Teams are fielding dozens of urgent referrals every day and struggling to keep up with the volume. Since January, we've seen a staggering 220% increase in new immigration cases. ICE has quietly ramped up its detention capacity around the New York City area by 55%, reopening facilities that had been closed, adding beds at Delaney Hall, Nassau County, and even in Brooklyn at the Metropolitan Detention Center. Our neighbors are being detained faster than ever, often taken without warning from courts or check-ins and sent to remote facilities, some as far away as Louisiana and Texas. What's worse, many of our neighbors and community members have no legal representation. Immigration legal services are more critical than ever, and yet in this moment of crisis, Mayor Adams is failing to offer meaningful funding to service providers. As legal teams scramble under-resourced to respond to mass arrests, mass deportation, and mass deprivation of due process. It is shameful. Because without legal representation, people are deported faster, families are torn apart, and the very foundation of justice crumbles. NYFUP is the nation's model for immigrant defense. Our program and other critical immigration services in this city have reunited families, kept workers, families, and our neighbors in their communities, and upheld the basic rights that every human being deserves. Legal representation should not depend on luck or money. It is a matter of due process, of dignity, and of basic fairness for all. Now more than ever, New York must put its values into action. Let's make sure no one faces this system alone. Mayor Adams, it is on you to make sure no one faces this system alone. Thank you.
And it looks like in closing, we're going to have Councilmember Linda Lee, followed by Councilmember Mercedes Narcisse, and we're going to wrap it up because we know we have another press conference. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. My name is Linda Lee, council member, and back in 2016, unfortunately, we saw the same thing. I was standing on these very steps as executive director of Korean Community Services, and at that time, we stood with Morad, we stood with Mo, we stood with all the groups here, we stood with Lisa, all the legal defense organizations in the city, and we were scratching our heads of what to do. And we came together and we said, we have to drop everything, and this is our new charge right now. We gotta make sure that our immigrants are protected. Let me be clear. Immigrants are the backbone of New York City. That's right. Immigrants are the backbone of New York City, and we have to do everything we can protect them and make sure that what happened last time, I don't know if you guys remember public charge. Guess what? Those immigrants, out of fear, disenrolled from their benefits, they still have not been able to get back on through HRA, still. So they still are surviving without benefits. This is an egregious thing, and we have to stop it. We have to make sure that the money is there for legal services to do their job and actually protect our immigrant New Yorkers and be with the nonprofit organizations that are partnering with them to offer the services. So what do we have to do?
Fight back!
What do we have to do? Fight back! Exactly. Thank you.
Bonsoir. Bonsoir. Good afternoon, everyone. And to all of you that make New York City beautiful, I want to say thank you. To all the services, right, I immigrate to this country. I understand the fear, the uncertainty, the challenges many of our neighbors are facing today. Every New Yorker deserves fair treatment and access to legal representation. I'm benefiting from it. I have two CUNY lawyers coming to my office to help those Haitian migrants, all our brothers and sisters, the black and brown do talk about. We build New York City, especially when the stakes are so high as deportation and family separation. But the mayor's budget does not go far enough. Our legal service providers are overwhelmed and the need continues to grow. If we want to be the city that truly protects its people, then we need to invest in legal services that keep families together and ensure a due process. This is New York City after all. We cannot afford to hear from different sources that immigrants are bad for the city of New York. The immigrants build that city, and we're gonna be here.
All right, with that, we're coming to a close. When they say come back, we say